Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Potato Chief, and we are coming to the end of the decade. The decade is almost over. It has been 10 years since 2010, and to commemorate the end of the decade, we are going to be doing a couple of videos on the channel. Today's video is going to be the best matches of the 2010s. So from January 1st, 2010 till the 31st of December 2019, we are going to be discussing the top 10 matches. I've broken it down into 10 separate matches, one for each year, and then I'm going to be giving you my top 3, and I will tell you my personal pick for match of the decade. This is all personal opinions. This is all subjective, so obviously if you disagree, I would love to hear what your match of the decade is. So we're going to jump into it now. So here is the top 10 matches of the decade by year. So here are the nominees. First, in 2010, we had Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, WrestleMania 25, or the 25th anniversary, which is not actually the 25th anniversary, Korea versus Streak. Then we have Money in the Bank, CM Punk versus John Cena. The pipe bomb just happened, and it was a big deal around the industry. Then we have End of an Era, which should have been the last match for Undertaker versus Triple H. The last time they should have faced, but they ruined it with Saudi Arabia. Thanks to that, Saudi Arabia. But yes, it is Triple H versus The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, with Shawn Michaels as special guest referee at WrestleMania. Then we have the 2013 SummerSlam main event, where Daniel Bryan cemented himself as the top babyface in the company, beating big match John Cena clean in the center of the ring, and then getting screwed over at the end of the match, and Randy Orton cashed it in. So there we go. And that leads into 2014's match of the year, which is Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Drax the Destroyer Batista in a triple threat match for the main event of WrestleMania 30, culminated his storyline with The Authority. Then we have the 2015 match of the decade, which is Sasha Banks versus Bayley, the biggest, still considered one of the best women's matches of all time. Then we have in 2016, we have the debut of Shinsuke Nakamura, Takeover Dallas, where he faced Sami Zayn in one of the most incredible debuts in wrestling history. In 2017, we have AJ Styles versus John Cena. John Cena getting his last title reign in recent history. Then we have Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano from 2018. So I was struggling a long time trying to figure out which one I preferred, and we're going to go with Brooklyn 4 for this one. But both matches are tremendous. And then a little bit of bias for me, but the 2019 match of the year, Tyler Bate versus Walter. I was there. So those are the top 10 matches defined by year. I'm going to have a top 3 now. So third place, I might have in a couple of years' time, I might say this is the best match of the decade, but I can't say it, and I feel like I'm a bit biased for this one because I was there. It is Tyler Bate versus Walter, the greatest match I've ever seen live, and probably the greatest match I'll ever see live. It was absolutely incredible. Out of all these matches, is the one with the highest star rating by Dave Meltzer. So, I mean, does that mean anything? Probably not to some people, but me personally, it really was amazing. It was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen, and as I said, it was the greatest match I've ever seen with my own eyes, in person. Then we have the second place. Number 2 on this list is Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. Now, you might be like, whoa, over a load of these matches? Are you serious? And we're like, yes, I am serious. This match cemented Nakamura as a main event star in my eyes, and he became my favorite wrestler, or one of my favorite wrestlers from that moment. I didn't really know much about him from New Japan. I wasn't much of a New Japan mark back in the day. Back in 2016, I didn't really know much about him. But when he came in, he completely floored me, and it was incredible, and it gave me goosebumps, and it still gives me goosebumps to this day watching that match back. It was absolutely incredible, and of course Sami Zayn carried the match as well. He carried his weight in the matchup. They were both phenomenal in it, and it changed my perception of NXT as a brand, and honestly, it was one of my favorite matches of all time. And then number 1, the match of the decade, CM Punk versus John Cena, Money in the Bank. I mean, this is kind of an obvious choice. I think you would be more shocked if I didn't say this one. It changed wrestling forever. It completely changed the landscape of professional wrestling. We had CM Punk's pipe bomb and him taking the title and running off. The match itself was absolutely incredible. The only downside I have is the fact that they didn't really capitalize it. They kind of botched CM Punk's... They kind of botched CM Punk after this with Triple H and Kevin Nash. And then The Rock taking the title off him after he had the historic reign. All that stuff wasn't great, but this match itself was incredible, and it changed the landscape. It made people think Ring of Honor stars could main event wrestling, and wrestling matches could be higher quality. It was incredible for its time, and it's incredible now. And it's incredible to think that this match was 9 years ago, and it's still the best match of the decade. Granted, I might say Walter versus Tyler Bate is the best match of the decade if you ask me again in a couple of weeks' time or a couple of months' time, but I feel a bit impartial, so I'm going to put that down at number 3. But what do you guys think? What is your match of the decade? Is it any of the 10 that I mentioned, or is it something completely different? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, too sweet. Stay tuned for future decade and wrestler of the decade. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, too sweet. Laters.
Join Potato Club today and too sweet that subscribe button.